And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original new Indian movie called Dhamaka. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's got a silent H. Dhamaka or Dhamaka. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Had you heard of this? Were you excited to watch it? Let's jump in. Reassigned from TV to radio, a frustrated anchor sees both danger and opportunity when he receives threatening calls on the air. Every now and again, you get a film that subverts your expectations. You go in thinking one thing, and then it comes out thinking another. That is this film to a T. We've seen films like this quite a few times. Phone booth, where you have your protagonist have to stop something bad happening, but is in a contained area, calling like 999 or 911, depending where you are, and they have to try and stop the killer or exacerbating the situation from going on. A very contained story. That's what this is. But what the director does with this contained story is very interesting. It's pretty much heightened tension the whole way through, but it starts out with a montage of love and relationship, and then we snap into the reality of what's actually going on now. And so with that little montage at the beginning, I don't think I've seen a montage at the beginning of a film right from the beginning. It's literally right at the beginning, and that kind of sets us up with an understanding of what has happened in a relationship, and that sets us up for what we hope that might happen towards like the middle of the film, resolutions and things. But this film seriously takes a tack on things I was expecting to happen, things that you're gonna guess what happens, and then kind of turns them on their head, which I really appreciated. It definitely kind of stretches out the story somewhat. There are conversations that go on too long for me. There are arguments and like screaming and crying or moaning, or like when someone is affected by whatever is happening on screen and your boss is telling you to sort it out or get yourself together. There is all of that. But it also shows the vileness of corporations, news anchors, news outlets. Like, what is news now? Is it just trying to get the views? Which does seem to be a very hot topic at the moment, because there's so many journalists, critics, news outlets, magazines that write for the sale rather than write for the article. And has been a fine line for many years, but now I'm sure some come to mind. I'm not going to name and shame them, but definitely in my mind there are a few news outlets that I can think of right now that I know don't speak the truth, but they speak the lies to get the click. And that's what this theme, the story kind of takes on. It's what's in there. So in amongst this guy trying to get his apology, and we have these explosions, I guess. I don't think that's ruining anything if you've seen the trailer. From that, we don't want any more explosions. That's kind of the story. But in amongst that, you see what goes on behind it. Who wants to get the story exclusive? Who's going to control the narrative? So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And the theme really is you only have one life to live. It's pretty on the nose, even with the score and the music that is like the soundtrack to it. But I thought it was a good message. But at the same time, I don't know if you're going to come out feeling happy. But I am glad they were brave enough to go the path that they went with this film. Yeah, it's a bit of a I also don't know if I ever want to watch it again. Now that I've seen it, it's kind of a one and done. That doesn't mean it's not a good film. It's just like it's like watching The Sixth Sense, although I have watched The Sixth Sense again. Once you know the twisty ending, it does take away some of that. But as a first-time watch, an interesting take on this genre that we've seen done before many times, and give it a little bit of twist, it keeps it fresh. So somewhat long in the tooth in certain amounts of the conversations. However, the acting keeps you glued to the screen. I think the acting is very good. You like to hate some of the characters, and you're willing some of the characters to not choose the thing that they're about to do, even though there's nothing you can do about it, and they will choose it. The cinematography looks great. There was no explosions that I didn't believe, except for one that looked a bit CGI and took away from the believability. And there's a certain expectation of you're not actually able to do that until the story resolves itself, saying, oh, that's how he does that. And by the time you get to the end, you're like, I understand the message of this film, but I don't feel like in the great words of Tom Holland or Spidey. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. It's that sort of film. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm gonna give this 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5, mostly because I enjoyed it. I think it's probably a 3.5, but I enjoyed it. It did something different, which I really appreciate, and the film as a whole was quite fun to watch. So let me know your thoughts below. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.